Hey everyone, thanks for joining me again. Today we are going to be fighting the EnGenius SkyKey versus the Ubiquiti CloudKey. And a serious note, I got given one of the EnGenius SkyKey, sorry. The names are so similar, I'm going to keep making mistakes, so apologies about that. Main things I'm going to be looking for is configuring access points, what things it supports, most things like can it block clients, detection, not going to get performance. I don't really have the gear set up to do proper performance testing. Part one is, can we find it? All right, so top tip, search by uptime. All right, so 4 devices. Not quite sure how I have 4 devices. There's only 3 plugged in. That's the switch, the ECS 1008P. And I'm going to hope 2010 is the SkyKey. That's not the SkyKey, that is the access point. There we go. It's probably like admin password. Oh, what a guess. So I'm actually going to disable this for now. You know, we've had this whole thing about security, right, with Ubiquiti. I really don't trust any cloud provider these days. Host it yourself. Apply. Set such a terrible password. All right, server name. Very creative name of CloudKey. Cool. Update successfully. One thing I noticed when I started this up, I saw a date of 2018. I don't know how up to date this is. The system is definitely a little bit more simpler than the CloudKey. They claim it is a little bit more powerful because they claim it can run 100 devices versus 50 devices. That really depends on what it's doing. You know, I could theoretically run 100,000 devices on a small ARM processor if it's only just like pinging them. EasyMaster 1051S. So I guess let's create a new project. Testing. All right, so, okay, it takes me to the device config page and it found them both instantaneously on the network. All right, touche. That was actually pretty nice. So by the way, I didn't do anything to these, and you can see my last video about that. I took them out of the box, I plugged them together. So I plugged into LAN 1 on the SkyKey, into one port on the switch, and I plugged the access point into another port on the switch. The one of the cables is basically joined to the rest of my network. Cool. So added both devices. Okay, so you can see here an access point and one switch. So it's provisioning it. I don't know what it's provisioning. I haven't set any settings yet. So new update available. Well, that does not surprise me. So 1051S. Let's update it. I wonder if they've done some updates since then. All right, so let's go back to global settings. Let's go back to update EasyMaster. I think it was EasyMaster, or was it in under one-click update? It was under one-click update. We'll let it do its thing. So it's saying there's updates for 2 things. Update. And I guess I will see you in a second once it's finished. All right, a coffee later. That took a little longer than I expected. Probably about 20 minutes. I actually lost track of time because I went away to make a coffee and then I came back and it was done. It looks like it didn't update too many things. Looks like a similar layout. The home looks the same. So let's go to switches. So one thing I want to set up and find out is how would one set up a VLAN on a certain port? Let's see if it knows what's plugged into each port. That's always a good setting. Okay, so we have 2 is the access point, and then 8 is the rest of the network. You can set a power budget, which is interesting. So actually they're pretty power efficient. Oh, that's cool. It tells you the exact power consumption and the voltage. I have not seen it where you can change their priority on the PoE. Interesting. Well, how do you change this though? Apply what? I don't know what I just applied. All right, what did I do? I guess I clicked this, enabled. Oh, I see, priority. Interesting way to apply that. I would rather, yeah, okay. No, it's a level 2 switch, so theoretically it supports VLAN. All right, so I bounced around in settings for a little bit, and actually it took me through to the switch's direct webpage. Supports IPv6, which is nice. Oh, you can give it static routes as well. That's pretty cool. Oh, here we go, level 2 features. Gemma frames. Oh, it's enabled them by default. So link aggregation, so you can do port trunking. Oh, and VLAN's its own separate section right below it. I see, okay. Now, I'm not gonna get into all these things. I just wanted to see how difficult it was. So you have to go out of the settings, out of the EasyMaster, and then set this stuff manually. Now, that's not too abnormal. Reality is these controls are really designed for access points. saying you can configure your switch from your software, you kind of should try and support most of the features that your switch does. But I do like that. This is something which I think they do better than, say, Ubiquiti in this sense. If you buy Ubiquiti switch, you cannot use them directly. You can't go into a web page, or you can use a CLI, you can like tell that into them, but the settings get overridden by the software, by their controller. Here, if I set a setting, does the controller overwrite the setting on the switch? But I do like that I can go in here and then actually have access to all the settings like I would on, say, like the EdgeMatch software. So that's a nice thing. Oh, okay. Actually, this is a little bit nicer way of doing it. Okay, no, I like that actually. Back to EasyMaster. How I actually got to that page, by the way, was I went into visualization, the topology view, loading, and then I clicked this and I went link to switch and it took me to the web page. So I can't find any way to change VLANs inside of here. Let's dive into the main part, which is access points. So this found its own channel. I haven't set anything, so it's just found those two channels. They're probably pretty empty. You have a static IP address. I want to see if this has a web page too, because if so, that'd be pretty nice. It does. Okay, I like that. I like this combination. Set a really insecure password. So not a huge amount of data on here, kind of more high level stats, what it is, serial number. What else can we do? Management, reboot, restore, controller address. Oh yeah, it's automatically picked up. All right, yeah, so these have less information clearly. These are very clearly meant to be controlled by the control software. Wireless radio settings, the country, yeah, USA. Only goes up to 40 megahertz, interestingly. And this goes up to 80. As the other channel is pretty good, I'll give it that. 8 SSID, so I don't know if that's a maximum amount. Do I just go in here and change this one? Oh, okay. Let's change this one. I like you said with captive portal. I guess the one doesn't set up. Hotspot 2.0, traffic shaping. Oh, that's cool. So you can limit clients. It does support WPA3. Well, that's pretty cool. With security, always use the latest version. As soon as you can bump up your security version, always use the latest version. A couple of reasons for that. It normally fixes any security issues. And sometimes in the case of WPA3, I actually think it's faster as well. Oh, I didn't enable it. So let's give it both of those and apply. Wouldn't say it's nippy, but I actually think the only real difference is that the Ubiquiti software would just say it's provisioning behind the scenes, and then and it would show, and you can keep doing stuff, whereas this just makes you wait for it. Oh, okay, still applying the change there. Actually, whilst it's doing this, I can't get back into it before I could click into this. So I guess it actually forces you to wait. So I guess in the sense that if you wanted to be a managed group, you would create a group. Oh, here we go. So I guess you'd add multiple access points to it. It's interesting, you is in the USA, so I don't know why that didn't default to the USA. Leave there's an auto, client limits, 127 client, and then we give these a name for 5 gigahertz, and let's leave these all default. But it does support quite a few things. I think I've ever had a NAS idea. I don't actually know whether that means NAS is in network attached storage or something else. And security mode. Let's do WPA personal. So I'm going to save that. Advanced settings, enable both access points, set thresholds, set management VLAN. Basically, if you haven't got your VLAN set up, if you talk to the software on the VLAN, and if your control's not the same one, you'll lose access to it. All right, let's apply that and see what happens. Let's get my phone and see what appears. There it is. EnGenius. Let's connect to it. So it should see my phone. Okay, yeah, it's steered to 5 gigahertz. Pretty strong signal, no name, no IP address. Well, those are two interesting things. I should have both. Is it just slow? Okay, so I can kick someone, because could they reconnect? How does that work? I should definitely know the IP address of it. Yeah, so yeah, that's a little disappointing. Now, restores iPhone. That's not actually the name of it. That's interesting how it's done that. Abbreviated the name of the host name and then added an S and then the type of client it is. I have not seen that before. So that was a little bit worried that it's also not Linux either. You should know it's an iPhone. You detected that it's an iPhone with the name. So one thing I'd like to, one thing I use a lot is blocking, not kicking, blocking a client. So look at my phone. Finished. Okay, so there should be no clients. My phone says it's still connected, by the way. So that's interesting. Still connected. Apparently Genius thinks it's not. Yeah, it's back again. So you're not really, you're kicking the client off so then it reconnects. I guess if to bump a stale connection, that's not really what you need. So for me to be able to use this, I would need to have ability to see all the clients that have not been as history over a period of time, or forever ideally, but at least 30 days or 60 days, and then be able to block certain MAC addresses or devices. Right now it doesn't look like I can do that. I might have to do some more digging around and do another feedback once I've played around with some more. They're making a big deal about these things being pretty quick. This is because they do some more caching on the CloudKey. These are much quicker. So EnGenius were trying to make this whole point of it's a much more powerful device, it's faster, 100 clients. So far, this has been a little bit more of a slower experience. I mean, I just showed you, I just loaded different pages and you can see how much quicker it was on the CloudKey. So it supports VLANs, it supports access point groups, does most of it, supports WPA3 as well, which is super nice, which I don't think Ubiquiti support right now, which is a big shame. They have Wi-Fi 6, they have Wave 2 devices right now. So the letdown so far is that while you can use all the features, they're a little bit separated out. So as a less technical user, it's going to be harder to keep track of, having to go from your switch settings, from your Easy Master to your switch and backwards and forwards, and then you have to combine a router into that solution as well. They're not all in the same place. Now, if for example, if you had a router and then this controlled everything else, you could probably get on board with that. But the problem is that if you want to do anything advanced, you now have to set up your router and your VLANs, then you have to set up your switch separately or switches separately, and then you have to set up your access points inside of this. So from what I can tell right now is there is no real detailed client control, so I couldn't dive into the connected clients, which is a shame because I use it quite a lot where let's say your child is on the internet past when they should be. You go in there and you click block until they go and do the homework or something, right? Even in an enterprise network, you find a rogue client, or even at home actually, say an IoT device has been aggressive and refuses to disconnect from your network. That's when you want to use those access control and have a list of all the insights, and getting clients wrong is a little bit worrying. Now, I can understand if it's not Windows, you probably just de facto put it to Linux, but iOS is a very distinctive client signature. Android could probably fall under Linux, when you're detecting clients, but it's very interesting. So they have a way to go. I haven't done any hardware performance, although my phone connected no problems. I connected I did some browsing, wasn't any performance problems, All that, they seem to have the hardware down. They just got to bulk up that software and probably invest a bit more time and money in that. Recommendations right now, if you were to buy this system, I would only buy the access points. So the way I say is, would I use this for myself, or would I install this in my parents' house so I could monitor it, remote monitor it? Probably not until I see more client information. Anyway, I hope that gives you some insight into the EnGenius gear. Thanks for joining me. Please smash that like button and subscribe button if you want to see some more videos. I have some more videos around planning Wi-Fi and the basement update soon. So again, I hope to see you in the next video. Catch you soon. Bye-bye.